The 2023 Brazilian Grand Prix had it all. Confusion at the start, several retirements, and intense battles. Max Verstappen took his 17th race victory of the season as the Dutchman dominated the rest of the field yet again to win the race by over 8 seconds. Red Bull's newly crowned triple world champion put in another perfect display as he capped off another faultless weekend by taking pole position in qualifying, winning the sprint race, and then coming home in P1 during Sunday's Grand Prix. It proved to be the Verstappen show, as he defended once from a Lando Norris advance before pulling away to win by a sizable margin. Norris himself finished in P2 as his recent great form continues, whilst Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso rounded out the podium positions. The drama at Interlagos began before the race even started, as Ferrari's Charles Leclerc crashed during the formation lap. As he tried to warm up his tires, his car suffered a hydraulic failure, which sent the Monegasque national straight into the barriers, after which he was unable to continue. Leclerc's early exit was just the beginning of the turmoil. The race was interrupted by an early red flag after debris was spread on the circuit at the first corner following contact between Kevin Magnussen and Alexander Albon on the opening lap. Albon, 13th on the grid, drew alongside Hülkenberg ahead of the first corner, but the two machines made contact, sending the London-born driver into Hülkenberg's Haas teammate, Kevin Magnussen, and then into the barrier. The force of the impact tore the left rear off Albon's Williams, with the bouncing tire, which weighs 13 kilograms, narrowly flying over the top of Daniel Ricciardo's head before smashing into the back of his AlphaTauri. Piastri was also an innocent victim in the opening lap chaos, as his McLaren was hit up the back by the spinning Magnussen. That, however, was before a red flag came out, which gave McLaren and AlphaTauri the chance to try get the cars back in a position to race. They managed to do that, so both drivers were able to get back on the grid for the second start of the race. The issue, though, for both drivers was that they didn't do a lap under the safety car and instead went straight into the pits before the red flag. That meant both Piastri and Ricciardo were a lap down. They remained a whole lap behind for the entire race, trailing the penultimate driver by roughly a minute and a bit. So it was truly a disastrous race, not only for them, but also for their teams. The restart, with the cars stationary, was clean without any contact. Verstappen maintained his lead, closely followed by Lando Norris. Alonso engaged in a battle with Hamilton for the third position and left the 7-time world champion behind. Despite initial attempts, Norris couldn't sustain the pace, allowing Verstappen to pull away at the front. Further back, Perez needed to recover from his low grid position and stay ahead of Hamilton, with whom he competes for the runner-up spot. After overtaking Russell, the Mexican closed in on the British driver from Mercedes. On the 18th lap, the Red Bull driver made the crucial pass. In response, Hamilton went into the pits to change his tires on the following lap. With fresh compounds, he was able to go faster, while Perez stayed on the track with worn-out tires. When the Mexican made his pit stop, the British driver was back in the lead again. This strategy is known as the undercut. However, Hamilton's joy was short-lived, and the Red Bull driver regained the position at the end of the opposite straight. Unstable and lacking race pace, the Mercedes cars suffered significant tire wear and became easy targets for the leading pack. Sainz and Gasly took advantage of the German team's vulnerability and took the places of Russell and Hamilton. On the 59th lap, Russell brought his car into the pits and retired from the race due to oil temperature issues. The battle for the third position intensified between Alonso and Perez. The Mexican came close to overtaking the Spaniard, closed the gap, but the two-time champion's experience prevented the Red Bull driver from finding any openings. Patiently, Perez persisted in hunting down the Aston Martin driver. On the penultimate lap, the Mexican overtook the Spaniard, but Alonso retaliated and managed to hold on to the podium spot, crossing the finish line practically side by side with his rival, with a distance of 53 milliseconds between them. And with this amazing battle between Perez and Alonso, we end the Brazilian Grand Prix. Next stop, Las Vegas. This is the summary of the week. Thanks for watching.